If you're spending money on these things, you're probably wasting way more than you think. And honestly, most people have no idea. But in 2026, the game has changed. And some of the most common things people still pay for are just a complete waste of money. Here are 10 things you should seriously think twice before spending your money on this year. Stay until the end and let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most. Let's start with something almost everyone is still paying for. One, subscriptions. Streaming services, apps, memberships, most people are signed up to way more than they actually use. It starts small, a free trial, a quick click, and suddenly it becomes a monthly expense. Because it's automatic, it doesn't feel like spending, and that's why it adds up so fast. Adult life doesn't always give you time to sit and binge shows. Sometimes you watch one episode here and there, so I decided to cut it down and kept only 2. The crazy part is, if you canceled half of them today, your lifestyle wouldn't change at all, but your bank account would. And that's the real problem. Money doesn't disappear. You spend it, just in ways that feel too small to notice. This is exactly how money leaks out of your life without setting off any alarm. And if you think that's small, the next one is even more common. The second one, the daily coffee trap. It's not really about the coffee, it's about the habit. Spending $5 or $10 doesn't feel like much in the moment. It feels normal, routine, almost automatic. You don't think about it, you just do it. But habits are exactly what shape your financial life, not big decisions, but small ones repeated every single day. Over time, what feels small becomes hundreds or even thousands of dollars per year. And because it's so common, most people never stop to question it. It's boring, it's simple, but it works. And that's the point. The same way good habits build wealth, these small daily expenses slowly pull money away without you realizing it. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to notice. This is how people stay financially stuck without ever feeling like they made one big mistake. And here's the part most people ignore. Next one, expensive phone upgrades. Every year there's a new release, slightly better features, and suddenly people feel like they need it. We see massive lines outside Apple stores with everyone excited for the next upgrade. But think about it. After a week, it feels exactly the same as your old phone. Most of these upgrades don't change anything meaningful in your daily life, especially if you're not a content creator or someone who relies on your phone professionally every single day. You're paying a premium price for something that only feels exciting for a very short time. After that, it becomes just another device in your pocket. You're not really buying function anymore, you're buying the feeling of something new. And that feeling fades quickly, but the cost doesn't. This cycle repeats over and over again, and most people don't even question it because it feels normal to upgrade. The excitement is temporary, but the overpayment is very real. And if that sounds familiar, this next one hits even harder. 4, impulse shopping. You see something online, it looks good, it feels like a deal, and you buy it without thinking twice. And there's a quick dopamine hit when you click buy now, it feels good in the moment. But a few days later, it's just another item sitting in your closet, barely used or completely forgotten. Most of these purchases never become part of your life. They just take up space. I know someone who's addicted to buying things on Amazon, and their house is filled with piles of stuff that are rarely or never used. It's like that line from Fight Club. Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes, working jobs we hate so we can buy shit we don't need. These decisions are emotional, not intentional, and that's why they happen so easily. Over time, this pattern creates a constant flow of money going out with very little real value coming back. And this is where it gets interesting because it's not about one purchase. It's about the pattern repeating itself over and over again. One bad buy doesn't hurt much, but repeated mindless buying can quietly wreck your finances. Now, this one might surprise you because people defend it all the time. Food delivery and eating out. Convenience comes at a price, and most people underestimate how much they're actually paying. It's not just the food, but the fees, tips, and the habit itself. What costs 10 at home quickly turns into 30, and the more you rely on it, the easier it is to justify again. You're not just paying for food, you're paying for convenience. and convenience is always overpriced. Over time, it quietly becomes one of the biggest recurring expenses in your life. And most people don't even notice because it feels normal. And I'm not talking about ordering food occasionally, I mean turning it into part of your routine. And this is where it gets dangerous. 6. Extended warranties. These are usually sold as protection and peace of mind, and in the moment, it sounds like a smart decision. You feel like you're reducing risk, like you're being responsible, but most of the time, that risk never even happens. You're paying up front for something that statistically you probably won't need. Companies make a lot of money from this because fear sells really well. You're not buying value, you're buying the idea of security. And in most cases, that extra cost ends up being completely unnecessary. It sounds like a smart move, but in reality, it rarely pays off. What looks responsible at the register often turns out to be wasted money in disguise, and the next one gets a lot of ambitious people. Buying online courses and following gurus. People love the idea of improving their life, and buying a course feels like progress. But buying knowledge isn't the same as using it. Most of it ends up unfinished, driven by hype and motivation in the moment. I've bought several courses myself, but only finished a few. Real change came when I stopped chasing gurus and focused on actually improving as a professional. Information without action doesn't change anything, and over time, it just becomes another expense that didn't deliver real value. Motivation can sell you the dream, but only execution changes your life. And if you think that's bad, the next one is even more brutal. Next one, lottery and gambling. It feels like a small risk with a big reward, and that's what makes it so attractive. There's always a chance, and that possibility keeps people coming back. But that's exactly how it works. You're not investing, you're hoping. The system is designed so that over time, you lose more than you gain. What feels like occasional spending often turns into a consistent habit. And when you add it up over months or years, it becomes a significant amount of money. It doesn't feel like a big deal in the moment, but over time, it adds up just like everything else. Hope is exciting, but mathematically, this is one of the fastest ways to stay behind. Now let's talk about one of the biggest money traps in the entire video. Car payments. This is one of the biggest financial drains for most people, and it's often accepted without much thought. Cars lose value the moment you drive them off the lot, and on average, a new car can lose around 20% to 30% of its value in the first year alone, and up to 50% within 5 years. On top of that, you're paying interest, insurance, maintenance, and fuel. It's a long-term financial commitment for something that is constantly depreciating. And yet, it's one of the largest monthly payments people agree to without questioning it. This is where people really lose money, not because they need a car, but because they overpay for one that doesn't match their actual needs. The cost is much bigger than it looks at first. People will spend years paying for something that is losing value every single day. And this last one is the one that ties everything together. The lifestyle trap. Trying to keep up with other people's lifestyle is one of the most expensive habits you can have. Whether it's clothes, gadgets, travel, or experiences, a lot of spending is driven by how it looks to others, not by what actually matters to you. Most people are not spending for themselves, they're spending to be seen. And the truth is, most of the people you're trying to impress aren't even paying attention. This creates a constant pressure to spend more, to upgrade, to keep up. And over time, it becomes a cycle that's hard to break. Like trying to impress people is expensive. The moment you stop performing for other people is usually the moment your money starts making more sense. The truth is, none of these things seem like a big deal on their own, but over time, they add up. Spending a few $100s a month on things that don't really matter might not feel like much right now, but over a year, that's thousands. And over 10, 20, or 30 years, especially if you consider something like an 8% return, that turns into like tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is how compound works. Not just with investing, but with your decisions. Good choices build over time, and bad ones do too. The goal here isn't to stop spending or become extremely frugal. It's about Being aware of where your money is going and making sure it aligns with what actually matters to you, not what other people expect from you. If you want to take more control over your money and start making smarter financial decisions, click on the video on your screen right now where I talk about why rich people try to look poor. Do the boring stuff, think long term, it works.